Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So let's talk about something that affects literally millions of people every single day. But hardly anyone talks about it until it's too late. Dehydration. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, I drink water when I'm thirsty. I'm fine. But here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. If you're feeling thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Yeah, that sensation of thirst? That's your body waving a red flag, saying, "Hey, we needed water like 30 minutes ago." And this isn't just me saying this. Medical research has shown that between 16 and 21% of people are walking around dehydrated right now without even realizing it. That's 1 in 5 people. So before you click away thinking this doesn't apply to you, stick with me. Because I'm about to break down 5 signs that your body is literally screaming for water. And some of these are going to surprise you. Okay, so you're sitting at your desk. You've got a task to do, and you just cannot focus. You're reading the same paragraph over and over, or you're staring at your computer screen, and the words just aren't making sense. You might think you need another coffee, but here's what's actually happening. Your brain is dehydrated. Now, this is where the science gets really interesting. Your brain is about 75% water. 3/4 of your entire brain is just water. So when you're dehydrated, even by just 2% of your body weight, which by the way is super easy to do, your cognitive performance takes a nosedive. We're talking about attention, memory, psychomotor skills, all of it gets impaired. There was this fascinating research published that looked at cognitive performance and dehydration, and they found that being dehydrated by just 2% affects tasks that require attention and immediate memory skills. 2%. That's less than 3 pounds for someone who weighs 150 pounds. You could lose that much water in a hot yoga class, or just by not drinking enough water during your workday. And here's what really got me. Another study looked at adults over 60 years old, and they found that women with inadequate hydration showed significantly worse performance on cognitive tasks related to attention and processing speed. The men in the study also declined, but not as severely. So if you've been beating yourself up about being forgetful or having trouble concentrating, maybe your brain isn't broken, maybe it just needs water. The crazy part is, we often reach for caffeine when we're feeling foggy, but that can actually make things worse if we're already dehydrated. Because caffeine is a diuretic. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. You might feel a temporary boost, but you're not addressing the root cause. This one really hits home for me because I used to have these random mood swings where I just feel irritable and anxious and I couldn't figure out why. Turns out I wasn't drinking enough water. Who knew? So here's what's happening on a biological level when you're dehydrated. Your body goes into stress mode. Your brain isn't getting the oxygen and blood flow it needs, and that directly impacts your emotional regulation. Research has shown that dehydration affects not just cognitive performance, but mood states as well. We're talking increased feelings of anxiety, irritability, fatigue, and even depression-like symptoms. One study specifically looked at mild dehydration in men and found that it impaired both cognitive performance and mood. These weren't people who were severely dehydrated, crawling through the desert. These were people who were just mildly dehydrated, the kind of dehydration you'd experience on a normal day. If you're not actively thinking about your water intake, and get this, the connection between hydration and mood is particularly relevant for children and elderly people, because they have poorer fluid regulation. But even if you're in your 20s or 30s and think you're invincible, this still applies to you. Your mood is directly linked to your hydration status, and most of us are walking around wondering why we feel so meh all the time, when the answer might be sitting in a water bottle on our desk that we forgot to drink from. I've started tracking my water intake, and honestly, the difference in my mood throughout the day is night and day. I'm calmer, I handle stress better, and those random waves of anxiety that used to hit me in the afternoon, pretty much gone. It sounds too simple to be true, but the science backs it up. Okay, let's talk about everyone's favorite topic, urine. I know, but stay with me, because this is one of the most reliable indicators of dehydration, and most people completely ignore it. Your kidneys are like the filtration system for your body. When you're properly hydrated, you should be urinating regularly, and the color should be a pale yellow, almost like lemonade. But when you're dehydrated, your kidneys go into conservation mode. Your body is trying to hold on to every drop of water it can, so you're going to pee less frequently, and when you do, it's going to be dark, concentrated, And honestly, probably not smell great either. If you're only peeing a couple times a day, or if your urine is dark, yellow or amber colored, that's your body, literally showing you in the most obvious way possible that you need to drink more water. And this isn't just an aesthetic thing. Dark urine is a sign that your kidneys are working harder than they should have to. And chronic dehydration can actually contribute to kidney problems down the line. Here's a simple rule: if you're not peeing at least 4 to 6 times a day, and if your urine isn't a pale yellow color, you're probably dehydrated. Now, there are some exceptions to this. Certain vitamins, medications, and foods can change the color of your urine. But for most people, most of the time, dark pee equals dehydration. And here's something that's going to sound counterintuitive if you've been dehydrated for a while, and you suddenly start drinking more water. You might not notice an immediate change in your urine color. Your body has to rehydrate on a cellular level first, and that takes time. So don't get discouraged if you drink a liter of water, and your next bathroom trip still shows dark urine. Keep drinking water consistently, and within a day or two, you'll see the difference. Alright, so this one is something a lot of people don't connect to dehydration. But your skin is actually one of your biggest indicators. When you're dehydrated, your skin loses its elasticity. There's actually a test that healthcare professionals use, called the skin turgor test. They pinch the skin on the back of your hand or your forearm, and if it doesn't snap back immediately, that's a sign of dehydration. But beyond that clinical test, there are everyday signs that your skin is dehydrated. We're talking about dullness, increased sensitivity, more visible fine lines and wrinkles, dry lips that are constantly chapped no matter how much lip balm you use, and even dry mucous membranes in your nose. Some people also notice darker circles under their eyes when they're dehydrated. Now, here's where people get confused. Dehydrated skin is different from dry skin. Dry skin is a skin type caused by a lack of oil production. Dehydrated skin is a skin condition caused by a lack of water. You can have oily skin and still have dehydrated skin. In fact, sometimes when your skin is dehydrated, it overcompensates by producing more oil, which leads to breakouts. So if you're dealing with skin issues and you've tried every product under the sun with no results, the answer might be as simple as drinking more water. The skin is actually your body's largest organ, and it's made up of about 30% water. That water is crucial for maintaining elasticity, delivering nutrients to skin cells, and flushing out toxins. When you're chronically dehydrated, your skin shows it. And unlike some of these other signs that might take time to notice, you can actually see improvements in your skin within just a few days of increasing your water intake. I'm not saying water is going to cure every skin problem you have. That would be oversimplifying things. But adequate hydration is the foundation. You can have the most expensive skincare routine in the world, but if you're not hydrating from the inside out, you're not going to see the results you want. So what do you actually do about it? Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you to drink 8 glasses of water a day, because honestly, that number is pretty arbitrary and doesn't take into account your body size, activity level, climate, or individual needs. What I will say is this: pay attention to your body. If you're experiencing any of these 4 signs, especially multiple ones, there's a really good chance you're dehydrated. Start by increasing your water intake gradually. Keep a water bottle with you, set reminders on your phone if you have to, and start paying attention to the color of your urine as a hydration gauge. And remember, you don't just get water from drinking water. You also get it from fruits, vegetables, soups, and other beverages, though I'd stick primarily to water. And avoid loading up on sugary drinks or excessive caffeine. The bottom line is this: dehydration is incredibly common, way more common than most people realize. And it affects everything from your brain function to your mood, to your physical performance. The good news is that it's also one of the easiest things to fix. You don't need expensive supplements or complicated protocols. You just need to drink more water and pay attention to what your body is telling you. All right, that's it for today. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay hydrated, everyone!